to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same mistake. Darling, will you go away? It won't be as simple for you.
Ooh. Go on. We're live. Sorry about that. So I always seem to have some technical hiccups for some reason. Hey, guys. RDS, Old Man G, back again. I'm joined with my man Chainsaw, my boy Chainsaw. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I'm here for the W. I've got the fact.
There's a W. Okay, so guys, if you didn't know, this is our versus. This is versus. Let's go. Yeah, versus Wednesdays, man. Versus Wednesdays. And last week, I was with my boy Don Smoke, and we debated Pep versus Sir Alex. This week, it is Steven Gerrard versus Paul Scholes. Poll is in the chat if you want to get involved. But remember, if you're new to the channel, remember to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter 9X. Smash the notification button as well. I'll make a note if there is anything from Fabrizio Romano about like Timber or any Ajax player that we seem to be linked with, and Frankie de Jong. Then yeah, you know, I will do a separate show. I will go live about that. But strictly for this, like we're going to specifically be focusing on Scholes versus Gerrard. Get the likes up, share the link. It would mean a lot. So Scholes versus Gerrard, man. Right. So because obviously your guest on this channel, Chainsaw, we'll do with we're gonna have a few categories, but we're gonna start with kind of like opening statements, and obviously for those watching, you can get involved and get in your questions as well. Chainsaw, why do you think that Steven Gerrard is the superior player? Just as a general instance. Yeah.
I'm going to start off by saying I'm not going to be biased. There are things that Scholes better than Gerrard at.
Okay.
And Scholes is a legend. He's world class.
Okay.
So I fully respect Scholes. So I'm not trying to say, oh, if I say Gerrard's slightly better than Scholes, I'm not trying to say Scholes is rubbish. Because at the end of the day, these two are better than Lampard. So these two are like the top two of English midfield history.
Okay.
Both of them. And it depends what you want in your team. So for me, I want a player that's more versatile, that could do more offensively and still has good defensive stats. A player that has leadership. I know Scholes has leadership as well of some sort.
Okay.
But I think Gerrard has that next level leadership that's needed. And he's got the talent to back it up. So like, if you want to go through stats is just one factor. And trophies is one factor, but in my opinion, obviously trophies is a little less of a factor. You know why? It's still important.
It's important. Yeah.
Gerrard's only black mark is that he hasn't won the Premier League.
We'll get into that. Don't worry.
Okay.
You just focus on why Steven Gerrard is a superior player to Paul Scholes, but we'll get into that.
Okay, I'll start off with my argument with from the beginning. Okay. 1998 is when Gerrard started off the bench in November 29th against Blackburn. Now, from there, he was playing more on the right wing or the right side, right back, right side of the pitch for Liverpool, and he's developed into a player who could play box to box, and he could play number 10. He could play DM in his later years. So he's got that versatility that I've already mentioned. But on top of that, he brings in clutch moments, and I could list off clutch moments. One against United, 2003 League Cup final. Who scored in that final? Steven Gerrard. Olympiacos 04. Steven Gerrard.
Okay.
To Istanbul, we don't need to get into Istanbul, but that's like the creme de la creme of Steven Gerrard. And
Okay.
then 2006 FA Cup final, Steven Gerrard. Yeah, and the thing is, I don't rate clutch moments that highly, but again, it's a factor. You have to put everything into equal like factors into why a player is better than X player. And in Gerrard's case, I mean, look at the passing. Now, passing wise, Scholes is better than Gerrard. There you go. I've made it.
Okay. So
Scholes,
that was going to be a category. So you already made a defeat there. So maybe see the problem shows is you're releasing your hand too quickly.
No. But no. There's a reason why I'm releasing a defeat early on. Okay.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I'm agreeing with it completely, but I'm trying to be like nice because there's United fans here, and I don't want to get rushed. But like, and then here's a damning stat, absolutely damning stat: 2 PFA Player of the Years for Scholes, 8 for Gerrard, 8, and on top of that, 2005 Ballon d'Or, who came third? Steven George Gerrard, not Paul Scholes. And an even more damning stat, I think, if I remember correctly, Gerrard has, I think, 56 awards, individual awards.
Okay.
And then Paul Scholes only has 12, I think. No, sorry, 15. Don't worry, I got the facts straight.
No.
There's a massive difference between the two in terms of importance. Obviously, Scholes played in a better team, which hopefully we'll discuss later on as well. But in my opinion, Gerrard has more to give.
Well, thank you for your opening statement, Jinsel, and thank you for those who are tuning in. Let me just quickly get a few comments in. Shout out, bang like the guys for these good fellas. Thank you, Eddie. Come on, guys, go already. I've been waiting for. Sorry, Eddie, man. Apologies. We apologize a little bit late.
And remember to subscribe to Eddie as well.
Evening on says Matthew. Shout out to Matthew. Thank you so much for tuning in, buddy. So really appreciate you viewing. Big everyone on the show and in the chat. Eddie's football. Everything's so good. Let's see. Matthew already says Scholes all day, every day. Eddie says yes, Matthew. It's a hard one, but got to go Scholes at passing the sheer amount of league trophies. And then Eddie says Chainsaw's bringing some damning points up in terms of individual awards.
Thank you, Eddie.
I hate this low. Matthew then says Gerrard was a great player, but I think Liverpool fans overemphasize how good he was. That's interesting.
With that point, I agree with Matthew. That's what I'm trying to say. He's like, Paul Scholes was like the Xavi of England or Pirlo of England. He could control a game. He could completely dictate a whole game. I understand that. And here's the thing: I wasn't like watching football back then. I was too young to watch Paul Scholes in his prime or Gerrard in his prime, but I know from what I've heard from people and what I've seen on YouTube and so forth, and the stats as well, is like he dictates a game. That's why legends of the game were saying Paul Scholes is their best player or the player that they look at and they're like, wow. Because it's not about goal scoring. It's not about assisting. It's about how you play the game, the style that you play the game. How do you control a game? And those small 2-yard passes, those 60-yard passes, all of that matters. And it's very difficult to do, obviously, in the highest level. And Paul Scholes makes it look easy.
No,
I'm not team Paul Scholes, though.
Well, that's the thing. Like, it's already seeing that we're swinging towards Paul Scholes here. So, because I mean, this is tricky. I mean.
Don't worry, I'm keeping my facts hidden. You know.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Okay, so I mean, overall, like Scholes was one of the most consistent players for Manchester United under Sir Alex Ferguson. So much so that Sir Alex Ferguson had to beg Paul Scholes to come back for another season, you know, in order for him to like win the Premier League in 2011, I think it was 2011 or 2012, something like that. And like not only that, but he was key to essentially two basically rebuilds for Manchester United as well. Scholes, as we've already said, his passing and his distribution was sort of second to none. He was also one of the key leaders on the field alongside Roy Keane, etc. His just natural talent probably one of the best. And to be honest, he was shafted from the England side that were insistent on trying to play Scholes, Lampard, and Gerrard together, which was never going to work. So much so that Gerrard was shafted. Scholes was shafted onto the right wing when everyone knows that his best position was obviously as a central midfielder. So, you know, I'm obviously not going to go with clutch runs because I'm going to try and save that till later. But you know, when people like Pirlo are like, Scholes was worst class. You know, when you're getting compliments from Pirlo, when you get compliments from Xavi and so on, that's saying, listen, this is the Dom. This is the guy who would have taken at our club. This was the closest. And the problem is that like the problem with English football, right, is that English football, it's more about passion. And this is the thing. Scholes was not like a passion merchant. Okay. Gerrard, love him, skillful, but at times he was a passion merchant. You know, and that's not disrespect him because he's a very, very good footballer. But at times he was. And the thing with England is that they love passion merchants. Like, show me how passionate you are about things. And you didn't see that with Scholes. It was just listen. And the thing is, Scholes in particular rarely ever had a bad game. Rarely ever had a bad game. Scholes would consistently give you at the minimum a 6, maximum he could give you a 9, but based on how he could control the game. So I'm not going to get into trophies, all those things, because that's my kind of opening statement that this overall is one of the, I think, one of the best Premier League midfielders of all time. And a midfield that is grossly underrated by most Premier League fans.
I would question you saying that there wasn't any like bad games because you're a United fan. Of course, you're gonna like elevate a little bit higher.
Yeah, of course.
He actually was, and I think he also only played 499 games. He played less games than Gerrard. Obviously, Gerrard played 538 games, not too many more. But for me, Scholes kind of like gave up on football. He didn't play. He didn't like.
And he played almost 40, man. Almost 40 years old.
No, as in like he didn't play enough games for me because Steven Gerrard played more games than him.
But how many of those games? How many of those games were? How many? I mean, the key. Yeah, okay. Steven Gerrard did play more games, but how many of those games was he actually really effective in?
Whoa,
you know what I mean?
Whoa! Hold up, hold up.
How many was?
If you're talking about influence in a game, like controlling the game, it's Paul Scholes, right?
Okay.
But in terms of importance to a team, Gerrard was way more important to Liverpool than Scholes was to United. That's just a fact.
So this is because this is what Matthew says. It says the 05 Champions League final, Hamann won them that game. If he hadn't been subbed on at halftime, then AC would have run riot.
Well, to win games, you need a team. You can't just be one man against.
But the thing is, the key was people credit it to Gerrard sparking a comeback
because he not only scored the first goal, not only did he dive for a penalty, he also motivated the players, motivated the fans. He didn't give up. He also had an injury, I believe, a hamstring injury or not a serious injury, but he was fully gone. But he stayed on. He kept going on. I know you don't like passion merchant, but if you got the talent and the passion, then there's no beating you. I questioned Scholes' passion to the game, but his talent was unquestionable, right? Gerrard's talent is unquestionable as well, but he also brings that passion. He doesn't give up, hence why he's... Well, when we get to the clutch category, you'll see my response.
Right. Okay. Let's go with the first category. And the first category is talent.
Who's going first?
Yeah, you go first.
It's easy. It's Steven George Gerrard. It's simple because the fact that he could play number 10, DM, and I want to focus on DM, especially from 2012 to like 2014. Steven Gerrard was almost unplayable in that DM role. He was like a quarterback, and his side-footed passes, his through balls, it was far greater than, in my opinion, than Scholes. When it came to like that attacking play, linking up from defense to attack, that transition was so good. I mean, it's so underrated about Gerrard in his later years. He got better as he went on. Obviously, his last year or so, I think that was because of the slip. He kind of, mentally kind of gave up in his last 2 years at the highest level. But the thing is, the fact that he could play all different positions and he could play at a world-class level, like, I don't think Scholes could do the same thing as Gerrard. I think Gerrard could do what Scholes can do. Obviously, Scholes could do some things better than Gerrard, but Gerrard could still do it at a good level.
A lot of things, but yeah.
No, relax, audience, relax.
A lot of
No, it can't be, because number 8, he could play box to box. He could play DM. He could play number 10. He could even play on the wing, and he's played as a false 9 or a number 9 back then. So like, the guy could do so many different roles.
So he was a utility player, basically.
No, don't disrespect him. He's not.
Which made no. It's not disrespect. No. Like, he was. You could put him. He was one of those that you could put in a dip. Like, he was a utility.
No, but the thing is, Gerrard used to be.
So in a sense,
Gerrard was dribbling past players. His dribbling is crazy good. People underrate that. His passing is world class.
Yeah.
His shot accuracy and just shooting in general is also world class. His defensive thing is probably not world class. It's probably top class, but like, it's still like really high level. Yeah. While Scholes, I could say his tackling was pretty good, statistically speaking. His passing was world class, unquestionable, right? Okay. But was his goal scoring, his shooting that world class? Not really. Was his creativity world class? I mean, I could bring more stats for Paul Scholes in terms of assists, which is far less than Steven Gerrard. So like, it depends what we're debating here, and how do you define talent? How do you define talent?
How I define talent is specific in a player's position, because what you're describing is what I would say is versatility. So yes, like, I don't doubt that Steven Gerrard was a probably more versatile player then, but just because you're more versatile, it's like, for example, let's pick an example. Trying to think. Just comes to mind. Okay, let's say using Liverpool as an example. Mane is quite versatile for Liverpool. Has been quite versatile for them. He's played.
I know where you picked Mane.
He's played the middle.
That was a low shot.
No. Just saying. He's played in multiple different positions to accommodate other players, and has been good in those positions. So, but you wouldn't say that. Salah, he's a better number 9 than, say, like a Firmino or or any of the Liverpool number 9s that they've barely had, or he's better on the left, if that makes any sense. So just because you're able to be versatile and play in different positions does not necessarily mean that you are going to be able to. You are the most talented in that position. So go on.
But my rebuttal to that is, I said Gerrard could play number 10 world class, DM world class, number 8 world class. He doesn't just play number 8 world class and DM good and number 10 just decent. Is world class in all 3 positions. Okay. So it's like, not. And
what impact did that have on Liverpool?
Yes.
No, because if we're now talking world class, we're talking now this. Because this is the thing we need to work on. If we're saying something is world class, it means that player has, like, for example, people say that Gareth Bale's world class because of the fact that he was able to drag Wales to that World Cup. Like, okay, yes, there's a team, yes, there's a thing, but you know for a fact that if Gareth Bale's out of that team, they're not getting to that World Cup. For Gerrard, what was especially in the Premier League, what was the impact that he had that was world class across a 38 game season? Because if he's world class in 5 games, that's cool. But if he's averaging 10 or 15 games, then what's the point?
But okay, RDS, listen, we need to first of all separate what a team achieves and what a player achieves, or what a player does and what a team does. I know United fans are going to throw the Premier League stat, or he hasn't won the Premier League. I've already seen David T in the chat. He's talking about titles.
Let's bring up David T's chat.
He's talking about one more title.
Scholes one more time than Gerrard. Every football legend says Scholes was special. I think that's the part that I think I
But again, I've heard loads of legends say
don't hear the legend says.
Gerrard's special. I mean, and we also need to stop doing that thing where it's like if Thierry Henry says he prefers Scholes over Gerrard, which he did say, right? That doesn't mean he's right. I mean, I've seen him. I think Thierry Henry managed at Monaco. I mean, what happened there? I've heard Gary Neville managed down at Valencia. What happened down there? I mean, these pundits, they're just paid to say hot air. Their opinion doesn't matter. Like, I know people say it's their profession. They played at the highest level. They should understand it more. But some of these guys are airheads when it comes to actual logic and reasoning. And there's a bit of biasness as well. Though Gary Neville did say in this debate, I saw a video on it, he did say they are separate players. He doesn't want to compare them, as in he wants to separate them. He doesn't like the comparison thing, which is fair enough. That's a really good point from him. But the thing is, Gerrard has played Paul Scholes' position. And in my opinion, he's been more not influential, he's been more important to the team, to the outcome. And you keep mentioning
the thing is though, what I would say is that I don't think that Gerrard could control a game like Scholes could. Scholes could dictate a game for Manchester United. So when you're talking about dictating the way the game goes, Scholes could do that. So for me, if you're going to be a good like holding midfielder, like you have to be able to. It's not just like, okay, yeah, I guess he can dribble past players, he can score goals. Okay, he can come back and defend, passing, etc. But that it's like when you watch someone like Pirlo wasn't necessarily good driving the ball going forward. He wasn't necessarily obviously he was excellent passer. I wouldn't necessarily say like he was aggressive defensive tackler, but you knew that Pirlo controls games. Like he detects where the game. So it's just like it's almost like the head of a symphony. Like it just goes the way that he decides it. And I just think that in that position, which I think Scholes played, Scholes was much better at doing that.
Yeah, but RDS, my counter to that is okay, so you have a number 10 like Ozil. Ozil doesn't need to do what Pirlo does. There's two different type of midfielders, right? Right? Now, if I told you that forget the name Gerrard and forget the name Scholes, you could get a world-class player who could play in the DM role and dictate play for United next season. Or if I give you an option of a player, a midfielder, who could play world-class DM, number 8 and number 10, who are you picking? And forget the names.
But does that DM?
No, listen.
Yeah,
but you could get. But the thing is, if Gerrard went into this United team right now, because you're crying out for a DM, Gerrard could go there and say, "Hey, I've got good defensive stats. You need defensive stats. I could give that to you. Do you want a good passer? Do you want someone who could pass the ball, who could also dictate the game? Obviously, he can't dictate the tempo like Paul Scholes, but he can still dictate the game at a good level. Don't like say Steven Gerrard's like Jordan Henderson in terms of dictating a game of football or influencing.
No, he's better than McTominay, obviously in that respect. It's also...
don't even say he's better. He's like light years ahead.
Yeah, of course he's up. Yeah, of course. In hindsight, I'd say. Let me quickly go to comments, Chainsaw. 1 second. I know it's in for. I know you're about to pop off. Let me have a look. Let's see. Hold on, Chains. If Scholes is a better to play, isn't that arguably the most influence on the game and a big factor him being better than Slippy G?
Hey, relax.
Matthew says Scholes came up in the 90s, which had more rough tackling.
That nonsense.
Eddie says, hi, David. Big point there. Chainsaw said that Gerrard had up to 40, 50 individual wars, while Scholes had on 12. That does say something about Gerrard debately being.
Thank you, Eddie.
So says Eddie. And look at the way assists. That's interesting. Look at the way assists were changed from 1992 to 02. That is a thing.
That's dinosaur times. We moved on from that.
That is a thing, and this is the thing that people do seem to forget. Assists did change, so we can't really use that stat against.
Okay, but you can compare 2002 onwards.
Yeah,
That's
but I mean,
Paul
obviously,
Scholes' prime.
by that point, Scholes is like he's his prime.
He's in
Yeah,
his prime.
he's coming towards his prime, and Gerald is sort of starting. So towards the end. But so Chainsaw, would Gerard change all his personal awards for one Premier
He
League
would, he
title?
would, he would. But at the end of the day, United fans need to realize, because I'm respecting Paul Scholes here, but
Yeah.
all I'm getting from the chat from United fans is like they're targeting Gerard and saying, "Oh, he didn't win this," and "Oh, legends say this." It's like, look at the player. Just don't be biased. Just look at
Hmm.
the player. You can still say Paul Scholes is better in your opinion. That's fine, in my
Hmm.
opinion. But you can't start disrespecting Gerard and start saying Slippy G and let's have a civil debate for once.
Hmm. Okay. So we agreed that it's a tie about the talent between Steven Gerrard and Paul Scholes, that
You
they're
know
tied
what?
for talent.
You know what? I'll give it to Paul Scholes.
Mhm.
Wait, how many categories have you had?
We've got 5 categories.
Yeah, okay, I'll give it to Scholes.
Okay.
I'll edge it. It's a slight edge.
Slight edge. Okay. So the next category is just obviously in the position like passing / movement.
Ooh, see, you go for Paul Scholes first, and then I'll try to defend Gerard.
Passing, yes. I think Scholes. Because you have to, in order to take play, you have to be good at passing. And your movement has to be good. I mean, obviously, well, I won't say obviously scores and assists. We're not using that. So, but Steven Gerrard has more goal contributions. But yeah, like, I mean, the only thing I guess I would say, if I'm going to be objective, is that I actually think that Giggs was probably a better passer of the ball than Paul Scholes at times. But yeah, like, I think that he, like, Scholes, you need to be you need to have that to be a good dictator of play. But when I say that Scholes was like an excellent passer Scholes had excellent distribution, that Scholes movements was always exceptional. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say it was good at the high level, but I'm not going to say that it was like exceptional. So I'll just put that out there.
Okay, in the passing department, I do like Scholes in that department. Like, I've seen his passes, his range of passing, and the way he passes the ball. But when you add movement as well, I think Gerard just edges that. What was that comment? Gerard.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Matthew's saying Gerrard was a great player, but there's too much Roy of the Rovers going on Liverpool fans and a lot of disrespect on Scholes'
But
name.
you see, I'm not disrespecting Scholes.
Yeah, no,
I'm
you're
giving
not.
Scholes all the
You're being
credit as much as I can. But like, I think movement, Gerard has better movement, especially in his younger years when he was able to run past players and actually dribble past players and so forth. His movement and intelligence was really key. It's again, it's another underrated fact. I think it's because of the slip. People forget so many things Gerard was good at or world class at. He was a once in a lifetime player, and like people obviously, because he played for Liverpool and he had
Michael just says Scholes was a way better passer of the ball compared to
and
Gerrard.
see, Michael,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
saw both compilations of both players, and I do say Paul Scholes is like up there. He's almost number one, but I think Gerard's close to him. You could argue either way. I've seen Gerard's passing range is crazy. It's absolutely insane. And
movement could be 50-50 slightly. That's what I was saying. Like, I think that Gerard's
Michael, you can't like. Do you remember the assists, the through balls, the 60-yard passes, the quick 1-2s Gerard was doing? I mean, he was slicing the ball and it was like moving so perfectly to the players. It's like the link up he had with Sturridge, Suarez, Torres as well. Remember Torres, Gerard? I mean, again, I don't want to give this to Scholes.
But did he do that consistently though? This is the
No,
key.
why do you keep mentioning consistency?
No,
because 17 years. No, 17 years he was consistent.
No, consistency is important because I agree. I could agree with you. It's just that like the problem with the Premier League is that like if you do it in 1 or 2 games, like
No,
and the people are
don't
like,
do that.
"Yo, Gerrard, yeah, he did it
No,
against."
but no,
But
I've seen
and also
it.
against
Michael could test for this
the
one.
top
I think
teams.
Michael could actually back me up on this.
Mm.
Like Gerrard was so important. He was like, it was everything for our
This is
midfield,
key
for our
here.
whole team.
Gerrard played more advanced compared to Scholes for the movement. If you're playing obviously more advanced for the 1-2s, and of course that's
But
going to happen. But
yeah, but
if you're
Michael, what side are
distributing,
you on?
if you're oh yeah, because Mike's a Liverpool fan. If you're distributing from deep, pinging like how many times did Gerrard ping like a long ball, like literally just cut inside and take
Hundreds
up
of times.
defenders?
There's hundreds of like passes he's done.
Hundreds.
I'm not exaggerating. I used to watch him. I used to watch him and go like, "Oh, he's going to do a 60-yard pass in
Chainsaw
this game."
out like the 6 out.
No.
Just pinging it out of the 6-yard box is not the same. It's
Okay,
not the
okay.
same.
You know when we discuss teams, right? And people were talking about team achievements, league titles, trophies, and so forth. Can we like discuss the fact that Scholes had 2 generational teams, while Gerrard had one team that should have won the title. That was 08 and 09. And before anyone says 13-14, where Gerrard slipped, that team shouldn't have won the league title. Let's be honest. Like Martin Skull at the back.
They should have.
No,
they were ahead.
No.
They were ahead.
Mignolet at the back. No.
They were ahead.
They were conceding almost 50 goals.
They bottled the lead though. They
didn't. Okay, they did bottle the league, but it wasn't down to Gerrard. Like
no, of course, yeah. I never say it was all down to Gerrard, but like if
obviously for banter's sake, you could say it, but like in reality's sake, like Suarez should have done more, and Sturridge should have done more in that 2-0 Chelsea loss, especially at half time. They should have turned up in the second half. Crystal Palace Istanbul. I mean Suarez and especially the defense should have turned up. At least conceded less than 3 goals. And like obviously that slip is like because he said don't slip the game before when we beat Man City 3-2. He said don't let this slip, and then he slips the next game. So obviously the narrative is so strong. But that 13-14 team should not have won the league. That team should not have won the league. Look at the team and how many goals we conceded. It was Suarez. Suarez was on another planet that season, if you remember correctly.
Yeah.
So only 08-09 team, you could say, should have won a league title because Mascherano, Xabi Alonso, Gerrard, you had Torres, Dirk Kuyt, I think, was there. So you had like really good players and Pepe Reina in goal. But like,
who won the league? Who won the league in 08-09?
I can't remember. Was it Chelsea? I think it was Chelsea.
Let me just double check that.
No, don't check.
Are you sure? Like no, because you said they should have won. So
no,
I just
what was the score at Old Trafford?
Sorry?
What did Torres do to Vidic? Do you remember? 08-09?
No, so that was the question. The question was like who actually won the league in 08-09? Because
my memory doesn't go that far. I'm too young to remember.
I see. Okay, fair enough. Don't worry. I've got thanks to Google, you can just type in Premier League 2008-2009. I'm
going to be shameless, and I'm going to say Gerrard for passing and movement.
Oh, it was Manchester United. Just putting out there.
Let's stay on topic. I feel we don't have much
Liverpool
time.
came second, then Chelsea, then Arsenal. Shout out to that. Yeah. So no, just
so shameless.
Just for clarity's sake, man. But yeah, I mean, the chat. I mean, a lot of people in the chat. I mean, Jack. A lot of people saying that Gerrard's. Sorry, that's
exactly my
winning this. So, is there anyone? Does anyone think that Scholes in the chat that thinks that Gerrard's passing and movement was superior to poor Scholes? And Michael is in the chat, so he's a Liverpool fan. So
Michael's betraying me so far.
So,
I'm joking.
Well, he says I'm trying to be objective, Chainsaw Man. So he's trying to be objective.
Okay, you know what? Give this one to Scholes as well. Because I was going to give another one to Scholes. I'll give this one to Scholes. So it's 2-0 Scholes. Hopefully there's 5.
Passing is Scholes. Even my caps lock is acting up when Chainsaw said Gerrard. Right. Next category. So far it's 2-0 to Scholes.
Yeah. See, I'm humble.
Trophies.
Oh no! What is this? This is
it's a category. It's a category, isn't it? It's a category. So it'll be quick. It'll be quick though.
This is planned.
And it's not planned. It's just so can we just go through like how many trophies that it's trophies and impact? So what were the trophies that Gerrard won and the impact he had to get those trophies?
Okay, if we're gonna do like individual impact on a trophy, I
Yeah.
think Gerrard wins that one. I think hopefully the chat agrees with me, but like I think without Scholes, you probably don't win 11 Premier League titles, but you
Okay.
still win 8 or 9 because if you have like Cristiano, Tevez, Rooney, Carrick, who was underrated as well.
Yeah.
Who else did you have? You had like loads of really great players, Vidic, Rio. The
Yeah.
list goes on.
Mm.
So I know Scholes is important. Before anyone says, "Oh, Scholes was the key to all the trophies," I don't think that's true because there's Ryan Giggs as well. I mean, the list of players that you have is insane. So it's like if another player came in and did what Scholes did, but at less level, you still would have won league titles, in my opinion. Your squad was that good, right? And if I flip it, if Gerrard went to United, I think you win more Champions Leagues and more league titles. So maybe 1 or 2 more, but like that's how I see it because I think Sir Alex Ferguson would have been his dream to have Gerrard in that midfield. Obviously with Scholes, but if Scholes wasn't there, it still would have been his dream because he would have molded him even better than. Because remember, Gerrard didn't have world-class managers. Gerrard did not have a Sir Alex Ferguson.
Rafa Benitez wasn't world class at the time.
No.
At the time, it was world class. At the time, it was world.
Okay, he was world class, but he was,
compared to other managers at the time. Like we're not talking because about that time when 2005, Mourinho wasn't Mourinho, Pep, all those guys, not really
Mourinho
there.
was there. Mourinho was there
in 2005.
Yes.
Was he?
Chelsea, he won the first league title. 2005 or 2004, but he was there. He also won Porto 2004 Champions League was Mourinho. And he won the league.
Right, yeah. So
I think it was Sir Alex Ferguson, Mourinho. I think Rafa Benitez was third, like in terms of best managers in the world. But again, he's competing against Sir Alex Ferguson, the guy who did the treble in '99, and this is before Rafa.
So I missed that. James.
Okay,
what did you say?
Listen, we've got 3 trebles in our history.
No. Go
1984.
Back. I just want to. No. I just
1984, the first ever treble.
I just want to clarify what you said.
We have a treble.
It didn't. I did. The history. I appreciate Liverpool's history, but it was
2019 we had a treble as well. League, Super Cup, Club World Cup, Premier League. I'm shameless. Let's move. But thing is, Sir Alex Ferguson is on another planet. You can't compare Rafa and Sir Alex Ferguson.
That's true.
In my opinion.
That's true.
So, so Paul Scholes had all the best players in the world next to him, and then he had the best manager ever. So I think it's unfair on Steven Gerrard. So
I mean, what I'll say, because you're basically banking Gerrard's the trophy is based on what he did in the CL final in 2005.
2006 FA Cup final, 2003 League Cup final against United, against Alex Ferguson, against Paul Scholes. Steven Gerrard showed up. Paul Scholes didn't. I think Paul Scholes played that game. I hope he did. So there's 3 cup finals right there for you. You can add I'll be shameless and add 12 League Cup final against Cardiff. That's a clutch moment. But thing is, I just think Gerrard lifted his team more and had to do more to win a trophy than Paul Scholes. Not Paul Scholes' fault, but like Paul Scholes had the best players ever in the Premier League era.
What I'll say is that because I think those are good moments. I think a lot of those moments are, I think it's levels. So, for example, the two that come to mind are, that fantastic Barcelona volley, in 2009 when Scholes just pengs it, one of the best goals scored in CL football history.
2009?
Huh?
2009?
Sorry, 2008, I think it was. A semi-final against Barcelona. and bang. And that's literally the only goal that's actually scored during that leg, actually. So that's the goal that gets to the final, because I think it was 0-0 in the home leg, I think. So we get that goal, boom. Paul Scholes had an excellent game, and obviously because of that, we then go to the final, and we end up beating Chelsea, and we get the Champions League. But it was a clutch goal.
How did you perform in the
As
08
Michael
final?
says, look, I mean, Michael's even agreeing with me. He said it was a sick goal by Paul Scholes. And
it was a sick goal.
And then Newcastle
Michael
United
defended me.
FA Cup final. Yes, Paul Scholes had to miss the CL final because he was suspended for it. But people forget that his assist, his goal, his clutchness.
Yeah, he was
able to beat a competitive Newcastle United side who were actually pretty good at that time, to beat them 2-0 in the FA Cup final. So when we're talking about when we're talking about trilogy, like proper trebles, when we're talking about we only finished a point ahead in the Premier League, and then to push Newcastle, Scholes coming in clutch to get the FA Cup, and of course we went on to win the Champions League. All of those things were key for us to winning a domestic. This is what I'm talking about, levels, because without Paul Scholes, we don't get that treble. And without that treble, has any club come close to a treble?
We were 1 week away from a quad.
You were 1 week away from a quad. You were. There you go. And what happened though? What happened?
Let's not go there.
What happened?
That's painful.
What happened? What happened is Stevie G slipped.
No.
So and then
was that Magpie Studio speaking when he was bigging up Newcastle back then?
No, Magpies is in the other room. Sorry, no, that was just me. That was just me just speaking about. I mean, I respect Gerrard, but I mean, it's just when I'm saying levels, Chainsaw. I'm saying that
no, that's disrespect. Now you're entering that disrespect era.
Just that when you were talking about League Cups, I was like, I mean, League Cups though. I mean, are we really going there where we're talking Champions League?
But the League Cup that he scored in was against United, against Paul Scholes' team. So it wasn't just an ordinary League Cup. So
okay,
but I see your point. But I just think Gerrard didn't have.
Okay.
He didn't have the team to do a treble, a 99 treble. He never had a team close to that.
I don't think United's the team either, to be honest.
But
I mean, let's keep it stacked. Like that United 1999 team had no business winning a treble. Like it had a Premier League. Okay, fine, I'll give you that. An FA Cup.
Yeah.
Okay, So though Arsenal, Newcastle, those could say what's up, because that I still think that Arsenal side were actually better than the invincible side that came a few years later.
Okay, so are you actually saying on record, so everyone hears this and people clip this up?
Yeah,
okay. You're saying that 99 team's not that good. So you're saying that whole squad is not actually that great. They did a great achievement, but they're not that great.
Yeah, I'm on record saying that. Because I can admit that because I give a lot of that credit to Sir Alex Ferguson as a coach, because he took.
Okay. That backs my point.
Yeah.
Then that surely means that Paul Scholes was a better player, or no, he's not a better player, but he's, for you, in your perspective, he's seen as a better player.
Yeah.
Because of Sir Alex Ferguson coaching him. So if Gerrard was coached by Sir Alex Ferguson, Gerrard was coached by Sir Alex Ferguson, then you will all say that he'll be on another planet from where he is right now.
Of course, but he wasn't though. That's the problem. It's like we could do.
In your perspective,
I know we talked about what if, so we could have like a what if show. What if Steven Gerrard was coached by Sir Alex Ferguson, and we can come back to that in the what if in the what if universe.
You know what? You should have told me the categories, so I would have been more strategic how I put
it. No, because the thing is, you brought notes. So okay, that's fine. You brought notes. So you brought notes. So, but like you do the categories, so it's fair because you brought notes. I brought the categories. So it's where
I haven't used my main points as well. It's like,
sorry,
come on, I haven't used my main points yet.
What were your main points? Have you got main points to these trophies?
So who wins this one?
Well, let's ask the chat. That's the chat. Who wins? Chat. Who wins trophies and impact, because that's what this is really like. Did Steven Gerrard have more impact on the trophies that Liverpool won at the highest level, or did Paul Scholes have a more of an impact on the trophies that United won at the highest level? Let us know. Let us know in the chat.
Try not to be biased.
Trying to be biased, even though
I know
most people...
Eddie's fair. Matthew's fair as well, but I think he has a bit of a dislike for Steven Gerrard.
Michael's also fair as well, it seems. Michael's also very fair.
Yeah, Michael's fair.
Everyone seems to be fair in the chat, I think.
No, Michael, be biased. Be biased.
It's very, 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 very fair. Okay. So talent, trophies, passing movement, and then
can I say okay, if I give trophies to Paul Scholes, can I just quickly move that passing movement one to Steven Gerrard? Because I was leaning towards Gerrard in that one. Is that fine?
Okay. We'll get.
So it's 2-1.
Okay. I will. Well, we'll ask the chat as well.
No, don't do this.
Passing, because a lot of the chat said the problem is a lot of the chat said passing.
The movement as well, because movement's key.
Okay. The key. What chat? What do you guys think? What do you guys think, chat? What do you guys think?
Back. Yay.
Right, head to head. This is just, so basically when the two came together and clashed. In the high level, do you think that who had the better impact? Oh, sorry. Before I even go into it, let me just quickly get some comments first, because people are commenting. Let's have a look. Go up. Let's see. Okay, Michael. So Gerrard sneaks a few cup final cameos, but Scholes' influence on my trophy cabinet overall was immense, especially league triumphs. Matthew, 0-0 Camp Nou, 1-0 Old Trafford. Yeah, exactly. Scholes treble clutchness. Scholes wins. Lol, Magpie crying in the other room. Probably. Here's a joy actually, because Newcastle are obviously have got different owners now, and they're making moves. So there you go. Of course, Eddie, I'm not disputing Scholes' influence for the trophies, but whenever Liverpool had a big game, Gerrard stepped up other than the Chelsea moments. Okay,
thank you.
So
Let's go.
there. Scholes twice against R9 Inter Milan in 1999.
I don't rate R9 that highly, so.
What did you say?
Let's move on.
That might have to be clipped for later. As Chainsaw, I quote, "I don't rate R9." It's like, right, okay, that's we might have
he's a great player, but he's overrated in my opinion. I think the older generation just pump him up.
I think that might be another versus for maybe another week. Ronaldo, I might see if I can get HH on CR7 versus R9 Ronaldo, because I know.
I think it'll be unfair with HH. I think Messi would be a better one, because I think CR7 HH will target him.
There's been too many Messi Ronaldo things. That's the thing.
No. Messi R9.
You can't really compare those two the players though. I don't think you can compare Messi and R9, because Messi was never...
You can't compare CR7 Messi then, if that's the argument. Because they're
no, but the thing is, CR7 for at least parts of his career, was like a left winger, was more like versatile, like in times so. Whereas R9 was always, I think, an outright strike, and also, on top of that as well, it's difficult with the different eras as well. But yeah, that's your point. Scholes gets this one. You can't dispute the amount of trophies he's won. Yeah, Michael, I hear you. Wow, that slipped erased some of those clutch goals into it. And then Mbappe says, go look at level competition we had to beat in our treble season exactly. I'm
not disrespecting the treble. It's an amazing achievement.
UCL final road for United 99 was Inter quarters, Juve semis, and Bayern final. Impressive.
I'm not
played fast in the group stage.
I'm fully respecting the treble. I'm not attacking the treble.
Although Michael says Gerrard, if we talk impact, Gerrard for the trophies, but he only had one major trophy, and that's the UCL.
Whoa. Okay. No, he had the UEFA Cup, the League Cup, the FA Cup, the Super Cup.
I think the key was major, though. The key was major. The key was major. Scholes more trophies than played in every successful team, so Scholes wins. I don't dislike Gerrard. It's the lack of respect on Scholes' name. I'm from the older generation and watched Scholes and football from the 90s. I mean, I do think that there is a degree of recency bias. I think that there is. Yeah, we should. I don't think anyone in the chat on the panel, because we're all reasonable people, saying that Gerrard is like a bad footballer, he's crap, he didn't do anything. So I don't think anyone is saying that at all. And I do think that there is an element of like, oh, the players that played in the beginning of the Premier League, because they happen to be of a certain age, are just magically worse. And
I see what you mean, but like me and
I also think
Michael,
I think that it didn't help that Scholes' international career was rubbished by, Scholes probably would have got more respect and more viewership had he actually had a proper stint in the English national team. The fact that he got shafted, I think, didn't really help his
yeah,
exposure.
he's thing. But I would like to say that me and Michael, being Liverpool fans, we've given Paul Scholes plenty of respect, and obviously you'll get a few people or Liverpool fans that will go overboard and say the wrong things. But like we're giving Paul Scholes as much praise as possible. But
No, no,
all I'm getting back is Slippy G's, and he didn't win the league title, and
no. We're getting he's like, in recent memory, he's been one of Liverpool's most best and most consistent players. Salah also being up there as well now. So
Salah's ahead of him.
sorry,
Salah's ahead of Gerrard.
really, as a
Yeah.
as a Liverpool legend.
Yeah,
That's
he is.
that's interesting. Okay, Michael, let me know
I
what you
put
think.
VVD
Yeah.
ahead of Gerrard as well, but that's a debate
Wait,
for another
what?
day.
What's going on here? Wait a minute. So that changed.
And
Okay.
by the way,
Wow.
Gerrard was always my favorite player. He is my favorite player. But objectively speaking, VVD and Salah have done more for Liverpool.
In what sense? That's what
But
because
in the sense that not only they've been the best players in their position, Salah's also been and Van Dijk as well. They've been up there in the Ballon d'Ors. They've been more consistent in terms of the best
Michael said is that
players.
is like saying that, wow, what Jesus Chainsaw, what the hell, basically, like what's like. So I'm even shocked. I was very much like,
I am younger
what?
than most of you guys. I think Michael should be my age, early 20s. So I don't know if you've seen enough of Gerrard, but like I rate Gerrard highly. But come on, Salah's won the Premier League. He's won the Champions League. He's been in like the top three, not top three Ballon d'Or, but he's been up there. Van Dijk's been number 2 as a centre back in the Ballon d'Or, which is insane. And like, and Van Dijk plays a different position to Steven Gerrard, so his influence is going to be different, or his how you rate him will be different, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
of course.
And I just see Van Dijk and I'm like, wow, majestic. I'm not seeing a player where you're like, wow, where everyone in the world, or everyone that's not biased in the world, is like VVD is the best in the world. So, VVD and Salah for me, they'll get their respect in a few years' time.
Yeah, no, and I think we'll definitely. I mean, I think there was a verse where I had VVD versus Jap Stam on here before when take the Liverpool fans. So I definitely think that
Eddie, stop clipping.
Conversation to have. Eddie looks like he's so let's quickly go back on topic to this head to head, and again let us know in the chat as well. Thanks for watching. Please like the video as well if you're watching. Share goes a long way. And also to those people who tuned into the Q&A yesterday, that was actually a really, really good Q&A. I loved it. So hopefully we can do it on, and I'll obviously invite guests, Chainsaw Eddie and stuff like that. If it's like really people tuning in and good, we'll get people on. We'll have conversations. We might even throw in and do like a quiz here or there, something like that. Like I really want it to kind of be more like a community engagement type of thing more than anything. So yeah, if people tune in who like it, we'll definitely do a lot. And hopefully from next week or the weekend, I'll try and drop this. We'll try and sort out that what if live series. So I'll put on a poll tonight with like at least 5 options that we can sort of debate live. Because it sounds like people would prefer like a live kind of conversation about it. So what if, and we will go with we'll discuss that anyway. So what has Michael said? Salah could never drag Liverpool through the mud in that
Michael,
That's a fair point. That is a fair point. Salah
no,
has flopped in almost
no,
every major final. He
no.
has
Now let me
disappeared.
debunk that immediately.
Okay.
17-18 Salah. There's
Okay.
not been a single Liverpool player, minus the 80s probably,
Okay.
where 17-18 Salah was on another planet. He was Messi, Cristiano level.
Okay.
Now, a player being Messi, Cristiano level, and the reason why Ramos did his thing, obviously he didn't mean to injure him, but like it was a bonus that Salah went off the pitch for Real Madrid players. Salah was on another planet that season. That season, Gerrard couldn't even touch. Like people forget, 32 Premier League goals, 44 goals overall, and like he got 10 plus assists or something. Gerrard is not sniffing that. We would have won 17-18 that season as well. So there's no comparison for me.
But the fortunate thing is, so that's like I acknowledge. I mean, we're not talking about
Scholes and Gerrard.
But it's again, people go to clutchness because again, it's like, and even if you take that one season, the fact of the matter is that like he's been in other finals. And
what? Let's just stick on the topic.
We'll stick on the topic. So, like, there's Samas says there's no discussion who is better, Scholes over Slippy G. Poor Scholes could have played in prime and prime Barca, says Samasi.
Bayern Munich, seriously,
Prime
Bayern Munich fan. Listen, in November,
Barca, bro. Prime Barca. He could have. Scholes could have played in prime Barca. I think. I agree with that. I think.
I want to rip into Bayern Munich, but that's for another another day. But yeah, that's just overrating Scholes.
So,
Xavi over Scholes any day of the week.
What's the way?
Xavi over Scholes.
What was Xavi doing when he was 40?
What?
What's Iniesta doing when he's 40?
But both of them in their prime.
Yeah, but
that's the best midfield ever.
Yeah, but I mean, prime is one, but also it's like the consistency, longevity are also factors. What I'm saying.
No,
because
it does, but Xavi and Iniesta.
You're right. I agree with you. I'm just saying that, like, for me, like, if someone has been consistent for a club for most of his career, and that consistency has led to multiple titles,
let's just get back onto head-to-head. Like,
yes, okay.
That's what I'm saying.
Let's get so because we'll agree to disagree. I think we'll agree to disagree is that right now Scholes is ahead. In head-to-head though, I mean, what I'll do is I'll get up the Liverpool versus United head-to-head.
But isn't this unfair that United had a superior team than we didn't?
No, because a lot of the time you get pumped up for the rivalries.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So you still didn't, unlike last season when United just were like we can't be bothered in the last 2 seasons to play Liverpool. Back then, Liverpool, like I'd even make a case that, especially if you speak to any of the ex-United players, they're like, it was always hard playing against Liverpool. It was always hard. Whereas now, it's like,
can I just say this? Prime Jordan Henderson gets into prime Bayern Munich. That's a fact. There's no good Bayern Munich team. Name me a good Bayern Munich team. Just name me a good one. Gerrard, Henderson gets into.
Samasi, if you're still in the chat, Prime Henderson gets in to Prime Bayern Munich.
What is Prime Bayern Munich? Like 2013 Bayern Munich.
I mean,
Henderson gets into it.
I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I think maybe it's a bit of a stretch, but it's possible.
Henderson's a CL winner, so you have to respect him.
I mean, Bayern have quite a few CL winners in their squads, so they. You know that
They're the most overrated club, like in Europe. It's just
we should probably get back on topic. We should probably go to topic.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so head to head, and I've got promoting. Okay, so head to head. I'm gonna concede here. Like, I can't. There isn't. I mean, maybe the chat can help me, but I can't think of a moment where against Liverpool where Scholes like had a standout or dominated that I can remember, to be honest, in like in terms of Scholes' top performances. Like, do you have something to do with Gerrard?
I think this is where in the beginning we said talent and passion, where I said Gerrard had the talent and passion, while Scholes had the talent, but I think his passion was a little less than Gerrard. So when it comes to passion, it's a derby or supposed derby. He's obviously going to elevate himself even more and like pump himself more, Gerrard, and like he gave you the 4-1 at Old Trafford, and he also had like a bad moment as well with the red card in 38 seconds. But like he gave you moments.
Yeah, I mean,
in each game.
That was bad.
So yeah, I'll edge just to Gerrard.
Like I said, I can't. Like, for those that are watching, if you guys are still watching, help me out here. I can go back, but I generally like. I can't think specifically of. Like, I mean, I'm even looking now. Like, I'm like, I mean,
I guess it's a derby, so it's a bit unfair on both players.
Exactly. It's but I just can't think specifically of a standout performance that Scholes did against Liverpool. Not that we didn't win the game, etc. But I can't. So fine, I will give this to Steven Gerrard. Okay, so last subject matter. Okay,
Is it stats or goals or assists?
It's not really. So I think the problem with using like goals, assists, and stuff like that is that whilst Scholes and Gerrard were both midfielders, Scholes was never really like a cam. Like, Scholes was not like an attacking. But it wasn't his job to assist. I would argue Scholes was more again of the dictating of play, the Pirlo position. As opposed to Gerrard. So I don't think you can really. What I will say is, give me 2 seconds. I'll bring it up. Okay. What this one actually?
What is it? Or is it like
this one? Okay. Yeah, clutchness. We'll go clutchness.
I think this one's quick. Yeah, I think Gerrard wins this, or just about edges it. If you want to like say 99 treble, which is really clutch from Paul Scholes.
Exactly,
I think
deep line playmaker was that's basically Paul Scholes as well, a deep line playmaker, which is not what Gerrard was. Well, go
on. But you mentioned 99 treble, which is only like issue. Like I would have went Gerrard's clear in that department, but then you reminded me that Scholes was crucial for that, and he was crucial for the 08 Champions League to the final.
Yeah.
But I would say, in terms of the team that Gerrard was playing in and the managers that he had a couple more moments than Paul Scholes. That I would just edge Gerrard in that department.
So how many? So give me, I guess, the key, like what I would say, like clutch moments that Steven Gerrard have at Liverpool that you can pick out. Obviously, everyone knows about 05. Although, you know, Haman, it is what it is. There's that element to fit to things. But you know, because what did he do? What did Gerrard do in the first half?
Olympiacos. Again, it's a bit like obviously it's not against Barcelona, but like it was a really key moment. It was like this moment that helped us carry on in the Champions League. So I guess that would be one of those moments. But like, if I remember like specific moments against smaller teams like Fulham, which it again you say it's not clutch and so forth, but like his through ball to Sturridge when we won 3-2 in that 13-14 season, like moments like that, like clutch passes and through balls. It's like he did it more consistently, in my opinion, than Paul Scholes, regardless of whether it's a Champions League final or a normal league game. He did it like throughout, like you say, in terms of consistency. He gave you those moments more consistently than Paul Scholes. Obviously, he played more advanced, and obviously had to score more and assist more. But I just edged this to Steven Gerrard. I don't know if you agree with me.
I mean, I'm interested to see what the chat says. Do people think that like Steven Gerrard was more clutch than Paul Scholes? I mean, like I said, I've already mentioned. I think the two that certainly stand out to me. I'm just seeing if there was, as far as I'm aware. Let's have a quick look. Yeah, I think that's what.
What's the score right now? It's 2-2.
I think it's 3-1, isn't it?
What?
Because then you win the previous one, wasn't it?
Yeah, but the passing and movement one was like the.
Yeah, that was the sort of like it could be 2-2. It could still be the chat. I think the problem is that Michael in the chat kind of swayed it because Michael, the Liverpool, because he's the objective Liverpool fan, was like,
I've been objective so far.
Oh, you're objective.
Well,
as well.
minus the Henderson comment. That's just me.
Yeah.
I just despise by Munich. But
yeah, well, there were a fair few comments this podcast, like who like R9 is overrated. Salah.
As in he's not Messi level.
He's not. I agree. I agree with that. I agree with that. So just maybe some people might think, oh, balance and stuff. So, but yeah, I think for me, I think we're talking about, I guess, clutchness because obviously there's been key Premier League wins. Obviously the Barcelona hit was just fantastic. That's definitely up there. Only goal to get us through to the Champions League, and we won that. So for me, that's a clutch goal because that was very, very important for us.
Where would you line it with this? Because I've said Gerrard for clutchness already, multiple times in the stream. So where would you say? Would you?
You guys did talk about clutches earlier. Maybe Gerrard scrapes it in certain cup finals, but Scholes is a marathon winner with the leagues.
I still go for Gerrard. Slightly. It's only a bit.
I guess I just see it as like the higher level because the thing is that like it's like I don't want to bring up Salah again. But yes, you can have like do ball against like Leeds and you can only cut, but like for me, clutchness has always been about doing it like at the highest level, at the highest stage, whether that's like a decisive win. It could be a decisive win against a small team that leads you to win a league title or Champions League. I get that, so that's fine. So if it was like just like for example, what Gundogan did, for example, against Aston Villa, Villa was a small team, but that's clutch because it was like he literally helped them to. So that's where I would see as clutchness, and I just think that with Scholes against Barca, he was the only player that scored that goal, and it was a fantastic goal as well for them to get through to that final. And then the FA Cup. The only reason why I can bring up the FA Cup in that instance in the 1999 is because it was part of a treble. So because we needed to win that, we needed to win that game. So had we not won a treble that season, I wouldn't be bringing it up. But it's the fact that he was critical in that final against Newcastle with the assist and the goal to win it, and then we went on to win a treble. But that's why I would class that as being clutch. You combine them two, just a Champions League and a treble key component.
So you're going with Paul Scholes in this,
huh? So I'm sticking with Paul Scholes, Chainsaw.
Okay, so
what does the chat think? Chat clutchness. What do you think? Steven
I
Gerrard.
think Matthew is against me on this. Eddie's
If Michael's still in the chat, maybe
50-50.
Michael's still in the chat. He might be able to. Back you up. I think this is what about clutchness in the league. So clutchness in the league. Would you? So you give that to Gerrard? Would you?
No, if probably Scholes in that department, but
Okay.
cup finals I'll give it to Gerrard. So league to Scholes, cup
Okay.
finals to Gerrard. So it depends what you value more.
So should we call this one a tie then? Should we call this one a tie?
All right, if it's a tie, then that means it's 3-3 maybe.
Well, there'd be five categories. With five categories. So it's either going to be if you exclude this, it's either going to be 3-1, not including the draw, or it's going to be 2-2. If we assume that we go back and that passing movement goes to Gerrard. Personally, I think that still goes to Scholes, but it is what it is. You know, I'm happy to give clutchness to Gerrard.
You know what? I'll say it's 3-2 to Scholes. So
Okay.
I'll give him the passing one. I'll take the clutchness one.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? So I'll make it 3-2. But the thing is, that's the attributes, but that doesn't mean that that's the better player.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've broken it down.
Yeah. Give me because you had a spiel prepared, Chainsaw. So as we round up, give me like in your final closing statements, you know. So give me the spiel. Give me the data. Give me what it is that you wanted to unload about why Gerrard is better.
So Gerrard has like 100 and I believe 13 assists or 100 plus assists. Okay, and he has 125 goals or 120 goals for Liverpool specifically. We don't want to talk about internationals, but if you want internationals, it's I think 21 goals for England in 113 games, which is a lot of games for England. So he had loads of caps for England, so for a reason. Statistically,
it was a clutch slip, wasn't it, Eddie? Sorry, go on, Chainsaw. Sorry, my bad.
I mean, that's a painful one, but statistically speaking, I did see Paul Scholes. He did outscore Gerrard in the Champions League, so look, I'm giving you a fair 24-21. So it was close, but Scholes did outscore him, but Gerrard out-assisted him. Again, Gerrard was playing in a more advanced role, in the number 10 role. I have to look at my, my thing. You know what? I bricked it. The thing is,
this is not ending well for you, Chase, with a closing statement. So, I can help you.
No, that's stats wise. It's
okay.
not that.
Okay.
It's not going well.
Okay.
But because for me, saying the stats now, it feels pointless because we've broken down the players and how they play, and obviously you have the deep lying playmaker role. So, I'm fumbling the bag now, but I'll say this. I'll say this.
Well, for closing statements, it's not going well at all. But
I'm also doing learning some legal stuff as well as a profession. So this will be one of the worst closing statements ever. But I would say you have to be unbiased when it comes to Scholes and Gerrard. You could say they're two different players. That's fine, right? But you have to look at it with both how they played, so like an eye test type thing, and then you have to look at the stats. So Gerrard gives you the stats. He gives you like 100 plus goals, 100 plus assists. He gives you the leadership. He gives you clutch moments, big game player, right? He also gives you the passing range, the dribbling when he was younger, and into when he was older, a quarterback role. So he gives you variety that Paul Scholes doesn't give you. But Paul Scholes is definitely a better deep line playmaker than Gerrard. But as a midfielder, keyword midfielder, Gerrard does more. He's a more complete midfielder, defensively and offensively. So I get. Look, you're gonna mention the slip, and
I think they're referring to you slipping in before, as opposed to Gerard. So, but sorry, but go on.
you know,
It
it
is what
happens too.
it is.
It's a Liverpool thing. I'm joking, but that's fair. See that's a fair statement. I don't put Lampard
No,
statistically is
no,
greater than both
Lampard.
Scholes and Gerrard, but in terms of what you could see,
Yeah,
Scholes and Gerrard are ahead of Lampard.
yeah.
And the thing
I
is, my closing statement is: you just look at the whole package,
agree.
and if you appreciate a complete player, then you will understand what I'm saying. It's a bit as a comparison for everyone to understand, especially United fans. Is CR7 is the more complete player to Messi. Now that doesn't Messi's a better player, better footballer, but Cristiano could do more in terms of he could header, left foot, right foot. He could give you a bit more, right? And the way he's adapted and changed.
Mm.
But the thing is that again, it's subjective. Whether you rate Gerrard versatility or whether you rate Paul Scholes, you know, his positional play, how good he was in that one position, which was number one. So it
Fair.
depends.
Fair. And thank you, Chainsaw, for defending Steven Gerrard. I know it was difficult, especially in hostile waters on the Manchester United fan channel, but I thank you so much for coming on. And thank you guys in the chat, obviously, that have been there. Eddie, Box, Michael, Matthew as well. Like, really appreciate you tuning in. I'm really thankful for people, and Smassy as well. Thank you so much for involved. Like, we are trying to build the channel, get it bigger, etc. So, and just basically just seeing what works really right now, So so as
Can I
always. So go on.
can I say one more thing? And this
Go
is not
on.
about Paul Scholes and Gerrard, but in terms
Okay.
of your membership thing. So hopefully, if you haven't become a member at RDS's channel. But here's a suggestion for the membership videos. Obviously, this was a bit difficult in the sense that Paul Scholes he plays a particular role, and like I said, Gary Neville said you can't really compare the two because they're two different type of players in terms of what they can bring to a team. So I was thinking if we do versus battles or debates, whichever, but like a competitive one, where it's like, for example, me versus you, I've lost this debate, right? We could confirm I've lost this
Somewhat,
debate.
yeah. Somewhat, yeah.
Right, I'll humbly take the defeat. That means in the members videos, that would mean I can't debate or do a versus battle next. It'll be you versus Michael, for example, since
Oh, I see what
Michael's a
you're
member.
saying.
So it's
So win,
like
it,
it's a
win like
competition to see
okay, or
who wins,
competition to it.
and the
Yes.
members decide
Yeah.
who wins. Or you could give the non-members as well a taste of what membership's like. And then,
Yes.
so we've got member ideas, videos, hangouts, and
Yes,
all that.
exactly. I am trying to expand the membership, and we are going to try and get a lot of membership-based ideas as well. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. I think that Michael and a few other people post some stuff, so I'll be cracking. So I'm going to try and use this weekend to jot a few things down, and get started. A lot of ideas, a lot of testing. This has probably been one of the last 2 weeks. Has been very stream heavy in terms of ideas for this channel. So thank you so much. I am planning to do hopefully the members hangout tomorrow. So I'll post a comment. So if you are free, it'll be late, like probably around about like 9:30 ish to do the members hangout, 9:30 BST. So if you're available and if you're a member, get involved. We'll be talking all things football and then some. So please come to the chat. I guess finally, and before I go into my my statement, at the end of the day, Paul Scholes was a fantastic player, one of the most underappreciated English football players I think of all time. He had an amazing career. Won 2 Champions Leagues. I mean, how many English players? How many English players have won 1 Champions League, let alone two Champions Leagues? I know Henderson was close, but it is what it is.
Henderson could have 3.
He could have had 3. He could have had 3, but there we go. Scholes could have also had 3, but unfortunately, the ref didn't do his job against Barca, and it is what it is. Otherwise, they would have stayed. But technically gifted, controlling the game, brilliant feats, and still up to almost age 40, he was carrying this Manchester United side and helped Manchester United achieve the dominance they wanted to achieve. Gerrard is to be expected, is to be respected, but Scholes is to be celebrated.
Whoa.
So like, no, I just
gonna...
that was a burn. I say it's what you respected, but so that just so that
celebrate both players. In my opinion,
you can celebrate both players, you can. So, but certainly one over the other slightly. But thank you guys, thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Yeah, Boxer, exactly. Scholes. That's common. Scholes losing special. I never hear credit from the English media. Exactly. I barely hear any credit from the English media.
Didn't the English media point out the toe incident thing with Scholes?
Yeah, exactly. So this is my point, but they wouldn't do that with Gerrard, though. That's the thing.
But Gerrard is not weird like that.
No. It's not. I'm sure Gerrard had that fight thing in the club when he was a player or something. So, but they were like, oh yeah, he beat someone up, like and sent them to hospital. But it's just scousing Liverpool. What's the big deal? Move on. It's like, okay, fine, okay. Scholes changed the English midfielder. He had a technical game that was unknown at the time, and I agree with that. Like, instead of just the sort of the, like he was almost like an evolution of Brian Robson in one sense. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, if you're new to the channel, like and subscribe. You're going to be watching. I'll try and put some timestamps in so people who haven't watching live can follow stream live. Hopefully people like the graphics and stuff like that as well. I'm going to be trying to do a few more things. Oh yeah, Boxer said Carrick was underappreciated as well. I agree, he was very much so.
Ooh, the reason why Carrick and Scholes weren't appreciated, English media doesn't like a team dominating the way United dominated. So Man City are getting a similar treatment where some of the players are getting some praise, but like Sterling's getting so much abuse. Oh, there's obvious reasons why Sterling's getting abused by the English media, but like he's not getting bigged up for like winning all these Premier Leagues and doing all this amazing stuff. And it's because, in my opinion, when a team dominates heavily, that team gets hated on by the media. That's just my opinion. I think Liverpool had it in the 80s. You guys had it in the 90s and 2000s, and Man City are having it now. It's just common correlation, in my opinion.
Fair. Right, guys, it's been good. It's been swell. Oh, shout out to Red Marvel, my second channel. Please head over and subscribe. Posting a lot of entertainment content on there. It's growing as well. And head over if you like anime, head over to Changel's channel to subscribe as well. Have a nice day, everyone, and cheers.